My name is Diego, and I was there when Emily's story changed forever. It was a rainy afternoon on April 12 at a quaint little cafe in downtown Seattle, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the petrichor that wafted through the open door. Emily was there, her heart racing as she sat across from her ex-husband, who had come to discuss the custody of their daughter. She stood tall, her fingers trembling slightly as she reached for her coffee, the steam rising like her hopes. She smiled, trying to mask the turmoil inside, but the heartbreak in her eyes betrayed her. The soft chirping of birds outside contrasted sharply with the chaos of emotions swirling within her. As she listened to her ex-husband's words, she couldn't shake the memory of the last family gathering, where she had watched her daughter-in-law throw a lavish birthday party for their little girl, filled with laughter and joy. It was a stark reminder of what she had lost and what was at stake. Preserve the original language of the text, caught between the past and an uncertain future. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that Emily had a secret that could change everything. Emily stood in the kitchen, the heart of their home, where the smell of freshly baked apple pie wafted through the air. The golden crust glistened under the warm light, a testament to her skills as a devoted mother and wife. Today was special. They were gathering to celebrate Ryan's recent promotion. It was a moment of pride, a milestone that Emily had anticipated for weeks, preparing her favorite family recipes to make the evening unforgettable. As she stirred the mixture for her famous potato salad, she could hear the distant sound of birds chirping outside, a gentle reminder of the life blooming around them. The fresh grass swayed in the breeze, bringing a sense of peace that seemed to envelop the neighborhood. This was her sanctuary, where laughter and love intertwined. Ryan had invited Jessica over for dinner, and Emily felt a flutter of nerves. Jessica was strong-willed, and while Emily admired her determination, it sometimes felt like a clash of wills. Still, she hoped for a pleasant evening, where family values would shine through and everyone would feel connected. Later that evening, the table was adorned with her culinary creations, and the family gathered around. Ryan sat at one end, Jessica at the other, and Emily in the middle, feeling the weight of expectation on her shoulders. She could see the tension in Ryan's posture, as if he were straddling two worlds, loyalty to his mother and his wife. "Dinner is served," Emily announced, trying to infuse her voice with enthusiasm. "I made your favorite, Ryan, potato salad and apple pie. Oh my God, I can't believe how much I've missed cooking for everyone like this." Jessica smiled politely, but had her own agenda. "Thanks, Emily, but I prefer to keep things a little healthier these days." "Maybe we can skip the pie?" Emily's heart sank. She brushed it off, focusing on Ryan. "Come on, just one slice for old time's sake. You used to love it when you were a kid." Ryan glanced at Jessica, his expression conflicted. "Maybe just a small piece?" he suggested, trying to appease both sides. Jessica sighed, her voice firm. "I really think we should be mindful of what we're eating, Ryan. We can't just indulge for the sake of nostalgia." Emily felt a pang of frustration, wishing she could express her feelings without causing a rift. "It's not just about the food, Jessica. It's about family and traditions. We've always celebrated together, haven't we?" Jessica's eyes narrowed slightly, and Emily sensed the challenge in her tone. "Traditions evolve, Emily. It's time for us to create new ones, ones that fit our lifestyle." Emily's heart raced. This wasn't just a disagreement over dinner. It felt like a direct assault on everything she had built for her family. She turned to Ryan, hoping for support. "You understand, don't you? Family means cherishing what we have, not pushing it away." Ryan opened his mouth to respond, but hesitated, caught in the crossfire. "I think both perspectives are valid," he finally said, his voice shaky. "But maybe we can find a balance?" In that moment, Emily felt the weight of his silence, the absence of a definitive stance. It echoed louder than any words he might have said. She looked around the table, sensing the tension thickening the air. It was supposed to be a celebration, but instead, it felt like a battlefield. Thought. The smell of apple pie brought painful memories, a reminder of laughter that felt distant now. As dinner continued, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. How could Ryan let Jessica dictate what their family traditions should be? The conversation turned to lighter topics, but the undercurrents of conflict remained palpable. Eventually, they all sat down to enjoy dessert. Emily served the pie, hoping against hope that this would bring them back together. "Just one slice," she said, her voice more tentative than she intended, "for old time's sake." Jessica took a piece, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. "Thanks, but I'll have to watch my portions." The implication hung in the air like a dark cloud. Ryan's silence screamed louder than anything. Emily felt her heart breaking, and the warmth of the kitchen turned cold. She glanced at Laura, who had been observing quietly from the sidelines, her eyes filled with concern. "Maybe we should talk about this later," Emily whispered to Laura, desperate for support. Laura nodded, giving Emily a reassuring glance. "You deserve to be heard, Emily." Just then, Jessica stood up, her chair scraping against the floor, shattering the fragile atmosphere. "I think I need some air," she said abruptly, her tone dismissive. Ryan, startled, stood as well, his brow furrowed. "Wait, Jessica." "Don't," Jessica snapped, cutting him off. "You can't keep pretending everything is fine. I can't deal with this right now." Emily felt her breath hitch. She looked at Ryan, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. That moment in the kitchen changed everything. The celebration turned into an unintentional confrontation, leaving Emily grappling with a sense of loss she hadn't anticipated. As Jessica stormed out, Emily's heart raced, the reality of the situation settling like a cold weight in her stomach. She had always thought of family as a safe haven, but now she was left questioning everything. What had started as a celebration had spiraled into a painful reminder of just how fragile their family dynamics had become. Emily gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. Jessica noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the backyard, where the scent of morning coffee mingled with the faint smoke of the grill. Emily was setting the table outside, feeling a mix of pride and anticipation for the dinner she had prepared. Ryan's promotion was a big deal, and she wanted everything to be perfect. The birds chirped cheerily, their songs mingling with the sizzling of burgers, creating a serene backdrop that she hoped would set the tone for a joyous evening. As she placed the last fork down, the sound of a car engine abruptly shattered the tranquility. Emily turned her head just in time to see Jessica, Ryan's wife, pull into the driveway, her friends trailing behind her like a whirlwind. Emily's heart sank as she realized her quiet evening was about to be turned upside down. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," she muttered to herself, trying to mask her disappointment. Jessica burst through the door with an air of authority, her presence demanding immediate attention. "Surprise!" she announced, her voice dripping with enthusiasm that felt forced to Emily's ears. "I thought we could make it a party." Ryan, entering behind her, looked conflicted. He caught Emily's eye, and for a brief moment, she saw a flicker of uncertainty in his gaze. But then Jessica laughed, and the moment dissipated. Emily forced a smile, though it felt heavy on her lips. As they settled around the table, the atmosphere shifted. Jessica's friends were loud and boisterous, filling the space with laughter that rang hollow against Emily's heartache. She watched Jessica command the attention of the room, her confidence exuding an unsettling power. It was as if she were reasserting control over their family dynamic, and Emily felt the edges of her world fraying. During dinner, Jessica leaned back in her chair, casting a sharp glance at Emily. "You know, Emily, it's so nice that you still try to hold on to the whole motherly thing," she said, her tone mocking. "But times have changed. Maybe it's time to step aside and let the younger generation take over." The air turned thick with tension. Emily's heart raced, and she could feel the blood rush to her face. She opened her mouth to respond, but the words caught in her throat. All she could do was glance at Ryan, who sat frozen in his seat, his eyes darting between his mother and his wife. A silence fell over the table, heavy and uncomfortable, as if the very air was suffocating them. "Jessica," Emily finally managed to say, her voice shaky but firm, "that's not fair. I've always been here for you both. You think you know what's best, don't you?" Jessica cut her off, her voice rising. "But you don't get to dictate how our family operates anymore. It's our time now." Emily's heart shattered. The backyard that once felt like a sanctuary now felt like a battleground. In the backyard, it hurt like heartbreak. Ryan's silence was more deafening than any words could be. She had always raised him to value family, to stand up for what's right, but here he was, caught in the crossfire, his loyalty split down the middle. "Jessica, this is still my home," Emily said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I deserve respect, just as you do." Jessica rolled her eyes, an exaggerated gesture that made Emily's stomach churn. "Respect is earned, Emily, and right now, you're not exactly winning any points." The laughter from Jessica's friends felt distant, a reminder of how the evening had spiraled into chaos. Emily looked at Ryan, her heart pleading for him to intervene. "Ryan, say something," she urged, her voice tinged with desperation. He finally looked up, a pained expression crossing his face. "Mom, But before he could finish, Jessica jumped in, her voice dripping with disdain. "Oh, come on, Ryan. Are you really going to choose her over me? You know what she's like." Emily's breath hitched. The betrayal was palpable, and it felt as though a weight had settled over her chest. That moment at the backyard changed everything. She had always fought for her family, but now it felt like she was losing them both in one fell swoop. "Jessica, please," Ryan said, his voice a whisper. "Can we just eat?" Emily could hardly process what was happening. The love she had poured into this family felt like it was slipping through her fingers. "I can't believe this is happening," she murmured, her heart aching with every word. But Jessica smirked, unfazed. "Well, maybe it's time for you to wake up, Emily. The world doesn't revolve around you anymore." Ryan looked down, his silence a heavy weight that threatened to drown her. In that moment, Emily realized she had to reclaim her voice. She had spent too long accommodating Jessica's will, allowing her to dictate the terms of their family. "Enough," Emily said, her voice steady and resolute. "I won't let you disrespect me in my own home. This is my family too, and I deserve a place in it." The backyard fell silent, the tension crackling in the air like static. For a moment, it felt as if time had stopped, and Emily's heart raced with the uncertainty of what would come next. The wind chimes danced in the warm breeze, creating a soft melody that filled the backyard with an illusion of peace. Emily stood there, coffee in hand, the rich aroma mixing with the faint scent of rain-soaked pavement. Her heart ached as she replayed the scene from moments before. Jessica's harsh words still echoed in her ears, cutting deeper than any knife. "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," Emily whispered to herself, her voice barely audible over the chimes. The vibrant green of the backyard grass contrasted sharply with the heaviness in her chest. This was supposed to be a celebration, not a battlefield. "Mom, please," Ryan had said, his voice strained. "Just let Jessica handle things her way." Emily felt her heart sink. "Handle things? She just threw me out of my own home." The coffee cup trembled in her hand as she fought back tears. "You're just going to stand there and let her do this?" Ryan's silence was deafening. Emily's gaze shifted to Jessica, who stood defiantly, arms crossed, the very picture of entitlement. "You're overreacting, Emily. I'm only trying to help modernize the family," Jessica had said, her tone dripping with condescension. "Modernize?" Emily echoed, incredulous. "This is my home, not some project for you to redesign." Emily turned her back on the chaos for a moment, seeking solace among the flowers that lined the patio. She remembered the countless times she'd hosted family gatherings here, laughter filling the air, the warmth of connection wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. Now, that blanket felt ripped apart, threads unraveling with every word Jessica spoke. "Ryan, you need to say something," Emily pressed, turning back to face her son. "You can't just let her treat me like this." Ryan shifted uncomfortably, avoiding her gaze. "I don't want to get caught in the middle. It's complicated." "Complicated?" Emily's voice rose, the hurt spilling over. "Is this what you call family? Standing by while your mother is treated like an outsider?" Jessica stepped forward, her eyes flashing with annoyance. "You're making this way more dramatic than it needs to be. I'm just trying to support Ryan. Don't you want what's best for him?" Emily's stomach twisted as she caught the underlying manipulation in Jessica's words. "Support? By pushing me out? That's your idea of family?" Laura, her dear friend, had been listening quietly from the sidelines, finally stepping into the fray. "Emily, you deserve to be respected in your own home. This isn't right." "Oh, please," Jessica snapped, rolling her eyes. "Emily is just stuck in the past. Change is hard for her." Emily felt a surge of anger. "I'm not stuck in the past. I just value the family we built together. You can't just rewrite history because you think you know better." Ryan finally spoke up, his voice barely above a whisper. "Mom, can't we just try to understand her perspective?" Emily felt a flicker of hope, but it was quickly extinguished by Ryan's reluctance to fully take her side. "You're siding with her?" she asked, incredulity lacing her voice. "Not siding, just trying to find a middle ground," Ryan replied, frustration creeping into his tone. "Can't you see it from her point of view?" Emily stared at her son, feeling the weight of betrayal. "My heart sank when I realized you'd rather appease her than defend me." "Mom, that's not fair," Ryan protested, crossing his arms defensively. Laura stepped closer to Emily, a reassuring presence. "You don't have to take this. You've done so much for both of them." The wind picked up, sending a chill through Emily's body as she glanced at Jessica, who wore a smug expression. "I'm just trying to create a family dynamic that works for all of us," Jessica said, her voice smooth as silk. "But at what cost?" Emily challenged, her determination solidifying. "You can't just erase the history we share for your convenience." Jessica smirked. "Maybe it's time for you to step back and let the new generation take charge." Emily felt a fire ignite within her. "No, Jessica, it's time for me to stand my ground." Just as she prepared to deliver her ultimatum, a sudden clap of thunder echoed in the distance, and raindrops began to fall, splattering against the ground. The sound of the wind chimes became almost haunting. "I'm done being treated like a guest in my own home," Emily declared, her voice steady. "I deserve respect, and if you can't give that to me, then I will not sit back quietly any longer." Ryan's eyes widened, and Jessica's expression hardened. "You think you can just kick me out?" Jessica shot back, her bravado faltering. "No," Emily said, her voice low and fierce. "But I will no longer allow you to manipulate this family. You can't control everything, and I won't stand by while you try." In that moment, everything shifted. The rain poured down, washing away the tension in the air, but it also marked the beginning of a storm that would change their family forever. Emily felt a surge of hope. Perhaps she could reclaim her place, not just as a mother, but as a fierce protector of her family's legacy. "I can't believe you did this," Emily exclaimed. Jessica tried to explain, but words failed him. The scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the kitchen as Emily set the table for what she hoped would be a turning point. The morning sun filtered through the window, casting a warm glow that felt almost like a promise. But as she placed the last fork down, her heart raced with anxiety. She glanced at her phone. The screen lit up with a message from Ryan. "Are we still on for today?" "Yes, we are," she whispered to herself, hoping this family meeting would finally clear the air. When Ryan and Jessica arrived, the atmosphere was tense, a palpable weight hanging over them like the sound of wind chimes clinking softly in the breeze outside. Emily could see the tightness in Ryan's jaw as he exchanged a brief glance with Jessica, who had walked in with her arms crossed, exuding an air of defiance. "Thanks for coming, both of you," Emily started, trying to maintain her composure. "I think it's time we talk about what happened the other night." Jessica leaned back, her posture exuding confidence. "I don't think there's really anything to talk about, Emily. You've made your stance pretty clear." "What do you mean by that?" Emily's heart sank. She felt the walls of her kitchen closing in. "Let's be real," Jessica said, her voice sharp. "You're just trying to control everything. Ryan is tired of living in your shadow, and it's affecting our marriage." Emily's breath caught in her throat. "That's not fair, Jessica. I've always supported you two. I just want what's best for my family." Jessica smirked, the kind of smile that sent a chill down Emily's spine. Best for your family or best for you? Because it sure feels like you're more concerned about keeping Ryan close than letting him have his own life. Emily could feel her heart racing. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. "This isn't about me. It's about all of us being together, not tearing each other apart." Ryan shifted uncomfortably, his silence cutting deeper than any words. "Mom, I think Jessica has a point." "Ryan, don't!" Emily interrupted, her voice rising. "You can't seriously believe that." He hesitated, looking at Jessica before continuing. "I think we all need to be honest here. Sometimes it feels like you don't trust us to make our own decisions." Emily's world tilted. "Oh my God, I can't believe this. You're both turning this on me. I've sacrificed so much for this family. And now I'm the bad guy?" Jessica leaned forward, her eyes gleaming with a fierce determination. "Maybe it's time you realize that you can't control everything, Emily. You need to let go." Emily felt the sting of tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. How had it come to this? She looked at Ryan, hoping to find some semblance of support, but instead, he seemed more lost than ever. "I can't believe you're siding with her," Emily said, her voice cracking. "You're my son. You're supposed to stand by me." Ryan rubbed the back of his neck, clearly torn. "I'm just trying to see both sides, Mom. It's complicated." "Complicated?" Emily echoed, her heart aching. "It's not complicated when it comes to family. I've always put you first." "Maybe that's part of the problem," Jessica interjected, a victorious gleam in her eye. "You've made it about you and what you want for so long. You don't even see how it affects Ryan. He deserves to be happy too." Emily's chest tightened, the words hitting her like a brick wall. "What about my happiness?" she murmured, feeling utterly defeated. Ryan finally met her gaze, and for a brief moment, she saw a flicker of understanding. "Mom, we just want to build our own life. We need space to figure things out." As Emily stared at the two of them, the realization hit her like a tidal wave. She had raised Ryan to be strong and independent, yet here he was, caught between loyalty and love. The thought of losing him to this new dynamic felt unbearable. In that moment, something shifted. Cultural reflection. In the kitchen, it hurt like hope. She understood she had to change the narrative, to redefine her role not just as a mother, but as an individual with her own needs. "Maybe I need to step back a little," Emily said, her voice steadier now. "But that doesn't mean I will stop being your mother. I just want you both to understand how much I love you." Jessica raised an eyebrow, skepticism still etched on her face. It's a start, but love isn't enough if it's wrapped in control. Emily took a deep breath, feeling a weight lift as she realized she could reclaim her voice without losing her family. I need you both to know that I'll always support you, but I also need to be heard. This is my home too. Ryan nodded slowly, the tension easing just a fraction. I think we can work on this together, Mom. We just need to be honest with each other. The air felt lighter, the wind chimes ringing in agreement outside. Reflection. That moment in the kitchen changed everything. Emily knew this was just the beginning, but she felt a flicker of hope. The path ahead would be challenging, but for the first time, she wasn't afraid to walk it. My heart sank, Emily whispered in disbelief. I can explain everything, Jessica said desperately. The rain had just begun to fall, the droplets tapping softly against the leaves in Emily's backyard. She stood there, hands buried deep in the pockets of her worn-out cardigan, staring at the ground as the smell of wet pavement wafted around her. It was a familiar scent, one that often brought a sense of comfort, but today it only deepened the ache in her heart. Emily thought back to the confrontation with Jessica earlier that evening, the words still echoing in her mind like an unwelcome storm. You don't get to dictate how this family operates, Jessica had snapped, her eyes blazing with intensity. And Ryan, her son, had just stood there, silent, an unsettling calmness in his expression that made Emily's heart sink. It was as if the weight of their shared history had evaporated in the tension that filled the room. In that moment, all Emily could feel was betrayal. The years she'd spent nurturing their family, sacrificing her own needs and desires for the sake of her son and his happiness, seemed to slip away like raindrops on the pavement. How had it come to this? The very daughter-in-law she had welcomed into her home now wielded authority over her, and Ryan, her beloved son, was choosing to remain neutral, trapped in a web of loyalty that felt so unjust. Emily let out a shaky breath, and the distant sound of traffic reminded her of the world outside her little sanctuary. She had always been the protector, the one who fought for harmony, and now she felt utterly lost. "Oh my God," she whispered to herself, "I can't believe this is happening." It was a moment that shattered her sense of self, forcing her to confront the reality of her position within her own family. As the rain continued to fall, Emily knew she couldn't let this moment define her. The silence that had echoed in her home was deafening, and she needed to gather her thoughts to reclaim her voice. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through her contacts until she found Laura's name. A friend who had always stood by her, Laura would understand. With a deep breath, Emily hit call. "Emily," Laura answered, her voice bright despite the tension in the air. "What's going on?" "I need to talk," Emily said, her voice trembling slightly. "It's about Jessica and Ryan. Things have gotten out of hand." "Are you okay?" Laura asked, her concern evident. "Do you want me to come over?" "No, not right now. I just need to share my side. It feels like everyone is against me," Emily admitted, the words tumbling out. "You're not alone in this. You have to stand up for yourself. You've always been the heart of that family," Laura encouraged. Emily paused, reflecting on her identity beyond being a mother and wife. She had always put her family first, but where did that leave her? It was time to reclaim her narrative. "You're right," Emily finally said, resolve beginning to form. "I'll reach out to the others. I need support. I can't let Jessica dictate my worth." "That's the spirit. You're stronger than you think," Laura replied, her voice a beacon of hope. After hanging up, Emily felt a flicker of determination igniting within her. She began to compile a list of family members and friends to contact, her fingers gliding over the screen. Each name represented a potential ally, a voice that could counter the narrative Jessica had woven. As she planned her next steps, Emily's thoughts drifted back to the tension-filled evening. Ryan's silence had been a betrayal in itself. She had always believed he would stand with her, But now, she felt the distance between them growing. What would it take for him to understand her pain? Would he ever see that Jessica's desire for control was suffocating their family? Cultural reflection, that moment in the backyard changed everything. Emily realized she could no longer be the passive participant in her own life. With renewed resolve, she stepped back into the house, the sound of the rain fading behind her. The air inside felt heavy, but she was ready to confront the truth, ready to fight for her place within her own family. She would gather her allies, share her story, and reclaim her voice. It was time to show Jessica and Ryan who she truly was. And as she walked toward the living room, Emily felt a surge of strength course through her. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about standing up for every mother, every woman who had ever felt pushed aside. She would no longer let Jessica dictate the terms of her existence. With each step, she was ready to turn the tide of this battle, and she would not be silenced any longer. As she walked toward the living room, Emily felt a surge of strength course through her. The air was thick with tension, but she was determined to break the silence. The faint sound of wind chimes swayed softly outside, a gentle reminder of the peace she once felt in her home. "Ryan," she called, her voice steady, echoing slightly in the stillness of the house. She found him sitting on the edge of the couch, his fingers tapping nervously against his knee. The flickering light from the lamp cast shadows across his face, highlighting the uncertainty etched in his features. "Hey, Mom," he replied, not quite meeting her gaze. I didn't know you were back." "Can we talk?" Emily asked, her heart pounding in her chest. She needed him to understand, to see her side of things. "About Jessica?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, about Jessica and everything that's happening," she said, taking a seat across from him. The distance felt unbearable, but she fought against the urge to reach out. "I need you to hear me out." Ryan hesitated, the silence stretching between them like a taut string. Finally, he nodded, his expression a mix of confusion and concern. "Okay." Emily took a deep breath, the scent of damp earth wafting in through the slightly ajar window. "I feel like I'm losing my place in this family," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I've always been here for both of you, and now it feels like I'm being pushed aside." "Mom, it's not that simple," Ryan said, the tension in his shoulders easing just a bit. "Jessica's trying to do what's best for us. She wants to build a life together." "But at what cost?" Emily pressed, her heart racing. "I can't just stand by while she controls every decision. I love you, but I need you to stand with me too." He looked down, his hands fidgeting again. "I don't want to choose sides," he finally said, his voice barely audible. "It's hard." "Choosing not to choose is still a choice, Ryan," she replied, her voice softening. "I'm not asking you to fight her. I just want you to understand how I feel. I need your support." As the rain continued to patter against the windows, Emily felt a flicker of hope. She was no longer just a silent observer. She was ready to reclaim her voice and fight for her family. She would not let this storm wash away her strength. The sun had just begun to dip below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the backyard where the scent of barbecue wafted through the air. Emily stood on the porch, coffee in hand, listening to the cheerful chirping of birds as they settled in for the night. She could hear laughter and clinking glasses from the gathering below, but it felt like a distant echo, a world she was no longer a part of. "Emily, come on, join us," Ryan called out, his voice warm but tinged with an awkwardness that made her heart sink. He was trying, as always, to bridge the gap between her and Jessica, but the chasm felt insurmountable. "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," Emily whispered to herself, her grip tightening around the cup. She took a deep breath, the bitter aroma of the coffee mixing with the smoky scent of grilled burgers. It was meant to be a celebration, but instead it felt like a setup for confrontation. As she stepped off the porch, the wooden boards creaked under her weight. A reminder of the many family gatherings that had once filled this space with joy. But today, it was filled with tension, a palpable force she could almost taste. "Jessica, we need to talk," Emily said firmly, her heart racing. She could see Jessica across the yard, chatting animatedly with a few of her friends, her laugh ringing out like a challenge. Jessica turned, her expression shifting from amusement to annoyance. "What's up, Emily? Can't you see I'm busy?" Emily took a step closer, her voice steady despite the anger simmering just below the surface. "It's about the way you've been treating me, and quite frankly, I won't stand for it anymore. This is my home too." Ryan shifted uncomfortably, glancing between the two women, his face a mask of uncertainty. "Mom, maybe we can discuss this later?" "No, Ryan," Emily said, her voice rising. "This needs to happen now. You can't keep pretending this isn't a problem." Jessica crossed her arms, a smirk playing on her lips. "Oh, come on. Emily, you're just upset because I've set some boundaries. A family can't thrive without rules, right?" "Boundaries?" Emily echoed, disbelief coloring her tone. "You've thrown me out of my own house. How is that a boundary? You've taken control, and I refuse to let you dictate who I am in my family." The laughter around them faded, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Emily could feel the eyes of friends and family on them, the weight of judgment hanging in the air. "I'm not trying to control you, Emily. I'm just trying to make things work," Jessica replied, her voice losing its bravado. "By belittling me? By disrespecting our family history?" Emily pressed, the fire in her voice igniting her courage. "You're not the matriarch here. I am, and I deserve respect." Ryan shifted again, his brow furrowing as he took a step forward. "Mom, please, let's just—" "No, Ryan," Emily said, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. "This is about you, too. You've stood by while she's made me feel unwelcome in my own family. I can't believe you'd allow this." His face turned ashen, caught in a storm of loyalty and love. "I didn't know what to do," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought it was just a phase." "A phase?" Emily exclaimed, disbelief lacing her tone. "This isn't a phase, Ryan. It's a blatant disregard for everything we've built together." Jessica interjected, her voice rising defensively. "You're making this so much worse, Emily. We're trying to move forward, but you keep dragging us back. You need to let go." "Let go?" Emily felt her heart pound in her chest. "You want me to let go of my family? My son? My life? I can't believe you'd even suggest that." For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, Emily felt a wave of determination wash over her. "I'm done being quiet. I deserve a place in this family, just as much as you do." For a moment, on the porch, it hurt like strength, a fierce resolve blossoming within her. The tension was electric, the silence deafening. Then, unexpectedly, Ryan stepped between them. "Enough. This isn't just about you two, it's about all of us. If we can't respect each other, what's the point of even being a family?" Jessica stared at him, her facade cracking for the first time. "Ryan, I thought you were on my side." "I thought I was on our side," he replied, his voice firm. "But I can't stand by and watch you disrespect my mother. This isn't how family should work." Emily's heart soared at his words, but just as quickly it plummeted as she realized the implications. "Are you saying you'll choose me over her?" Ryan looked torn, his eyes darting between the two women he loved most. "I'm saying we need to find a way to make this work for everyone, but it starts with honesty and respect." Tension crackled in the air as the unspoken truth hung between them. Jessica's eyes narrowed, a new determination forming. "Fine, but if you think I'll just roll over and let you take control, you're mistaken." As she turned away, Emily felt the ground beneath her shift. The battle lines had been drawn, but for the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps this was the beginning of a new chapter, one where she would no longer be silenced. "Enough," Emily shouted, her voice echoing. "Please let me speak," Jessica pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Emily finalized. The storm had rolled in quickly, dark clouds swallowing the sun, a mirror to the turmoil in Emily's heart. She stood in the living room, the familiar scent of fresh coffee wafting from the kitchen, mingling with the faint smell of rain on the pavement outside. The wind chimes hung near the window, their gentle clinks contrasting sharply with the chaos that had just unfolded. "Ryan, you can't just stand there!" Emily's voice shook, a mix of anger and heartbreak. It felt surreal that mere hours ago, laughter had filled this space, punctuated by the clatter of dishes and the warmth of family. Now, the air was thick with tension, and the remnants of a family dinner had transformed into a battlefield. Jessica's face was a mask of defiance, her arms crossed as she leaned against the doorframe. "You don't get to dictate how our family runs, Emily. You had your time," she declared, her tone sharp and unwavering. Emily's heart sank further. She had always welcomed Jessica into their family, had always tried to make her feel at home. Yet here they were, at odds over something that felt deeply personal. "Jessica, this is my house. You're not the one who gets to decide who belongs here," Emily replied, her voice trembling with the weight of her words. She could feel the heat rising in her cheeks, her pulse quickening as she faced the daughter-in-law she once viewed as a daughter. In the corner of the room, Ryan remained silent, an unwilling spectator to the unfolding drama. Emily's gaze flickered to him, searching for support, for any sign that he would speak up for her. But he simply shifted his weight, his eyes darting between his mother and wife, caught in a storm of loyalty that left him paralyzed. "Ryan, say something," Emily implored, feeling a deep well of disappointment swell inside her. "I can't believe you're letting this happen." "Mom, Ryan began, but the words hung in the air, unformed and heavy. The moment felt like a pause in time, the wind chimes ringing softly in the background, their sound a haunting reminder of the peace that once reigned in their home. Emily felt the tears prick at her eyes. "You're my son. You should be on my side," she whispered, the bitterness of betrayal thick in her throat. Jessica's laughter was sharp, cutting through the silence. "Why should he be? You think you can control everything, Emily, but this is my family now. You need to step back." Emily clenched her fists, the warmth of the coffee mug slipping from her fingers as it clattered to the floor, shattering the moment. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," she cried, the heartbreak pooling in her chest, threatening to spill over. As the rain began to patter against the windows, Emily felt something shift within her. She wouldn't let herself be pushed out of her own life. "This isn't just about you, Jessica. It's about family, about respect," she said, her voice steadier now, infused with a newfound determination. In that moment, Ryan finally spoke, his voice low but resolute. "Mom, I know this is hard, but Jessica is right about one thing. We need to find a way to coexist. We can't keep tearing each other apart." Emily turned to him, her heart aching at the sight of his conflicted expression. "But at what cost, Ryan? I've sacrificed so much for this family." "Maybe it's time for you to stand up for yourself too," Laura's voice echoed in Emily's mind, a quiet reminder of the conversation they had earlier. The thought sparked a flicker of hope. The rain intensified, drumming against the roof like a chorus of voices urging her on. "You're right, Ryan," Emily said, her voice steadier. "I can't keep letting this happen. I deserve to be heard." Jessica's expression shifted, uncertainty creeping into her eyes as she took a step back. "Are you really going to turn this into a fight?" Emily's heart raced. "No, I want to rebuild, but it has to start with respect. You can't just dictate how I should feel about my own family." The wind chimes danced in the breeze, their soft sounds a contrast to the tension in the room. Emily's heart swelled with resolve, a sense of empowerment washing over her as she looked at Ryan, then at Jessica. "Let's work together, not against each other. I won't be sidelined in my own home," she said firmly, a quiet strength emanating from her. As the rain poured down outside, washing away the remnants of their argument, a fragile truce formed in the air. Emily felt a new dawn breaking within her, a promise to reclaim her voice and her place in her family. Have you ever watched your daughter-in-law throw your wife out of her own house and your son just stood there in silence? Emily thought, the weight of her words hanging in the air. And you, on your porch, what would you do? Emily smiled for the first time in days. Everything will be okay. Jessica nodded. You're stronger than you know.